Good morning. Welcome to class 10 English. Now we will continue on that. We will continue the chapter from the diary of Annie Frank. Last day I have taken the first class through online mode. Now this is the second class that you will be able to watch through that Bowden Model School YouTube channel. So let's start. We are discussing about Annie Frank. Last day we discussed through that online that how Annie Frank actually started her journey of writing the diary and why actually she had taken that steps to write the diary. We know that the diary that was gifted to her on her 13th birthday, and she had started to entry the documents, entry the information that she felt, and last day we discussed also that she here actually lacked the presence of a true friend. She told that she was surrounded with her caring mother, caring parents, and she was having 30 members of her family, but still she lacked the presence of actually she felt that there was no such true friend with whom she could confide in that everyday details. So from this reason, mainly for this reason, she had started writing this diary, and I also told about that oral comprehension check questions that there. So let's start from that next part that I'm reading from page number 51, and we are reading that I have written already that from the diary of Annie Frank. It's obviously that become one of the widely read diary entry all over the world. Now let's start. Since no one would understand a word of my stories to Kitty if I were to plunge right in, I would better provide a brief sketch of my life, much as I dislike doing so. Now, actually, Annie Frank had also given a name to her diary, and it's Kitty. Now, actually, she has told here that since no one would understand a word of my stories to Kitty, means she is telling that no one would understand what she would write in Kitty if I were to plunge right in. Plunge means to drive. If actually she told that if abruptly she had started this writing the diary, then nobody would come to understand what has been written here. So actually she liked to give a brief description, a brief sketch, means introduction of a life, to make the other people understand what she actually wanted to write in that diary. My father, the most adorable father I have ever seen, didn't marry my mother until he was 36 and she was 25. Now, actually, Annie found that father was the most adorable. I feel our own father also adorable to us. To each father is adorable to them. So here, Annie told that father was 36 and mother was 25 when they married. My sister Margaret was born in Frankfurt in Germany in 1926. I was born on 12 June 1929. So sister was 3 years senior to Annie, and sister was born in 1926 in Frankfurt in Germany. We know that actually Annie also was born in Germany, and Annie was born in 1929. I lived in Frankfurt until I was 4. My father immigrated to Holland in 1933. We know that they went to Holland, and beforehand, before the starting of Second World War, her father had emigrated, her father had gone to Holland. My mother, Edith Hollander Frank, went with him to Holland in September, while Margaret and I were sent to Aachen to stay with our grandmother. So father went to Holland in 1933. Then afterwards, mother went Holland in September 1933, and the two sisters, Annie and Margaret, actually they were sent to stay with their grandmother. Margaret went to Holland in December and I followed in February when I was plunked down on the table as a birthday present for Margaret. Then Margaret was taken to Holland in the December 1933, and on the birthday of Margaret, actually Annie was taken to Holland in the month of February 1934. So here Annie told that she has been taken to Holland and as a surprise gift to Margaret, because Margaret and father, mother, Margaret, they all went to Holland. Afterwards, Annie was taken there in 1934 in the month of February. I started right away at the Montessori nursery school. I stayed there until I was 6. So when actually Annie was taken, she was only 4 years old. So she started the schooling in Montessori school, and she stayed there for up to 6 years, up to she was 6, at which time I started the first form. And when she was 6, actually he just started the first class in Montessori school. In the 6th form, my teacher was Mrs. Cupers, the headmistress. At that end of the year, we were both in tears as we said a heartbreaking farewell. Means after the completion of this Montessori school, the headmistress and Annie actually both were both in tears, because they had a strong bonding. When Annie actually was staying there, Annie was actually reading there as a student, but the headmistress actually loved Annie very much. So when the schooling had ended in Montessori school, they were both in tears. In the summer of 1941, Grandma fell ill and had to have an operation. So my birthday passed with little celebration. In the month 1941, in the year 1941, actually Annie told that her birthday was not celebrated with much pomp and gorgeously, because her grandmother was falling ill. Grandma died in January 1942. No one knows how often I think of her and still love her. So Annie actually has written in the diary that grandma died in the month of in the year 1942, and how actually she used to love grandma very much. Nobody knows, probably nobody knows that how much she loved to grandma. Now, this birthday celebration of 1942 was intended to make up for the other. The grandma's candle was lit alone with the rest. Now, the birthday celebration of Annie's birthday celebration in 1942, her birthday was on 29th June. So that this year, when grandma died in 1942 in January, so this year actually the candle was lighted because of two reasons. One, to make up for the other, means and grandma's candle was lit alone with the rest, as if the candle was lit alone with the birthday of Annie as a form of prayer for grandma as well. The four of us are still doing well, and that brings me to the present date of 20th June 1942 and the solemn dedication of my diary. So she is telling that yes, up to this we are doing well. We four means father, mother, Margaret and Annie. These four were doing well in Holland, and up to this she had come to that date, the 20th June 1942, when she has started to write these diary entry. Now here also some comprehension check, that why does Annie provide a brief sketch of her life? Why Annie actually had not started writing the diary straight? What tells you that Annie loved her grandmother? These are the two questions that you will find very easily from that text. Now, let's continue with the second part, third part, that we know that in diary entry, whenever we are writing this diary, we must mention a date. So here also the date is mentioned, that is Saturday, the day and date, Saturday 20th June 1942, when we know that